هذا كيان غاصب غير قانوني غير شرعي ولا مستقبل له في أرضنا ومصيره يعبر عنه دمنا والشعار الموت لإسرائيل.
I did not think that the Arabs in Israel will behave like this, that this would be their reaction. We lived with them in peace.
Why should I leave my land? Why should somebody else take my land?
I had Jewish and Palestinian friends. In the 70s, Jews asked me how the Palestinians were thinking, and the Palestinians asked me how the Jews were thinking. They were just not visiting each other.
Simon Schoon tries to bring Jews and Palestinians together, already for 35 years. This is the story of a man who goes on, stubborn and with the courage of hope and despair. In 1973, young Simon Schoon leaves for Israel with his wife and 2 little children. Motivation? Idealism. They settle in the Christian kibbutz Nes Ammim in the Galilee.
When we came here, there were a lot of terrorist attacks here. We came with 2 little children, so it was not so nice. We realized that very much. The 3rd night we were here in Nes Ammim, there was a terrorist attack. In Nahariya we heard the noise. And then you think what we have done to come here.
Amen.
U bent dit niet vandaag. Jongens, eet smakelijk. De telefoon.
Ik wil ook een beetje brood. Ik wil zo brood.
Krijg je nog een lekker brood? Dat heb ik gekregen. Wat wil jij denken?
Simon and his family lived in the Christian kibbutz Nes Ammim. In this community, some hundreds of idealistic people were living and tried to support the building of the State of Israel.
This was the house where we were living, with my family, wife and 4 children. They thought we were a bit of crazy people at that time, that we left Holland to live here. And perhaps it was indeed true. At that time I was rather naive pro-Israel. I connected everything with the Bible. Everything was happening here, and I saw only the Jewish side of the story. So we came here. But now I have to say it was a rather romanticizing love for Israel. And in the course of time this didn't disappear, but it changed very much. These are the remnants and ruins of the in 1948 destroyed Arab village, Zanheria, very close to Nes Ammim. When I lived here in the 70s, I passed this site many times, but I didn't know, just like most Israeli people didn't know. It's one of the almost 500 destroyed Arab villages. At that time I didn't see it. I had no eye for this. It was just disappeared from the landscape. But it's still there, the remnants of the village, an Islamic cemetery. This discovery has changed my view upon Israel, made it more realistic. It's painful, it's really painful to discover that an idealistic story is not only idealistic and not romantic at all. That there has happened a lot, also a lot of injustice. That Arab people have fled, but also are driven out of their villages and houses. That they sometimes got a promise, also by the High Court of Justice, that they could return, but that it simply didn't happen. That is causing pain. I always try to listen to both stories. I'm a rather curious person, interested in people, very much interested. So I was going to make acquaintance with everybody, to talk to everybody. So also with my Palestinian fellow Christians. I visited them in their villages. I got contact also with Muslim Arabs. From them I heard other stories than those I was used to hear about Israel. At that time there was a revolt of Arabs in Galilee against the land expropriations and confiscations of the Jewish authorities. 9 persons were killed. I was going to those people, heard their stories. So I got also a view of the other side of the conflict.
Simon visits his Palestinian friend Elias Shabur. The father of Elias was the mayor of a town where hundreds of Israeli Palestinians were displaced by their Jewish fellow countrymen. Elias kept all these years the documents of ownership of these houses.
This is land settlement of Palestine by the British government. These are all the deeds of the land of Shafamir, and we kept them all. They are still kept with the name of the owner, with the area of the land, with the location, with the number of the block, with the number of the parcel, full details. And these are found in the archives of the British government in England and in Israel too, where we can show you that the land is registered under our names. So when we talk about confiscating the land, which is the most painful thing for us, for the Palestinian people, we are sad because we lost our lands, and without any reason. And I would ask the whole world to tell me, why should I leave my land? Why should somebody else take my land? Would anyone in the world accept that someone else come and takes his land? So still we don't, although I'm talking about the Israeli Arab citizens, those citizens who stayed in the country, did not become refugees, did not leave the country, carry an Israeli passport, and consider themselves citizens of the democratic state of Israel. And yet our lands was confiscated. And my father died sad because he lost his land. The whole clash and the whole problem is focused on the land, while the Israelis are saying that this is biblical, that God gave us the land, that it is written in the Bible. And of course, as a Christian, I do believe in the Bible, of course, but I don't understand it in a way where someone else will come and take my land under any pretext.
I had Jewish and Palestinian friends. In the 70s of the former century, Jews asked me often how Palestinians were thinking, and Palestinians were asking what Jews were thinking. They were not so much visiting each other. And I was watched from both sides. The Palestinians saw me as mainly a friend of the Jews, and the Jews found that I was going too much to Palestinians. And yet also now I think this position in between is for me the right one.
והטרגדיה הגדולה ביותר בשבילי זה הבן דוד שלי, שהוא בן גיל שלי, גדלנו ביחד.
The biggest tragedy for me is my cousin. We grew up together. He was my age, and he was murdered.